Hey guys, Master of Extreme 93 here.
And I want to kill myself.
As do I, because I fucked up. I kinda forgot to record in Elgato.
Yeah.
I did an entire video talking about the off-season, doing everything.
Made me stay up till 3 a.m.
I held Hannah captive for that long, only to find out my recording was lost because I wasn't actually recording. So we're going to do a quick recap right here. I just want to point out that Corey Green went from a 90 to a 96. He did not go to the draft. He's coming back for his redshirt senior year. And now Ronald Thomas is 83 overall as a redshirt sophomore, and we have a redshirt freshman, Dan Beck, as 81 overall. So if we don't win the national title this year by whatever reason, Corey Green's gone, but then we have a quarterback competition between Thomas and Beck. It'll be interesting to see who gets that. Coming back for his
Not
true
to be confused
junior,
for the famous musician Beck.
Wasn't there also a John Beck of the Miami Dolphins?
Sadly.
Then we have true junior James Coe, 87 overall. He got faster, stronger, better, quicker, faster, better, stronger. However that Kanye West song goes, I don't know the lyrics.
What?
It was a Kanye West song.
No, it wasn't.
Whatever it is, I don't know the rappers.
Fam.
Was it Akon? I don't know. Ryan Nolan is the 82 overall. We don't have Dominique Riley, but we have a couple of guys who's already got the same overall, or better actually, than what Dominique Riley was last year. Lamar Blair and Nolan.
I'm speechless.
Who is it then? Tell me.
You're thinking of Daft Punk.
Better, Faster, Stronger is a Daft Punk song?
If it's the same song we're both talking about.
Okay, Google bigger, better, faster, strong, whatever. I don't know. Wade Roberts.
Harder, faster, stronger.
No, I know it's the Kanye West song. I just know this. I don't know what the title of the song is.
Fam.
Wade Roberts is a true junior. This is such a professional recording. He's an 89 overall.
I don't give a shit anymore.
We have a true senior, Quentin Williams, at 87 overall. Anthony Hampton, true junior, 86 overall. Josh Nicholas, coming off a redshirt redshirt season last year, is an 83 overall, and that speed is beautiful. 95 speed. Also, Quentin Williams, 6'3", with a 98 speed. These two guys right here, Williams and Nicholas, I'm going to be throwing deep to probably a lot because that is very good burner speed. For his true sophomore year, we have Jason Washington. And then we also have Rob Cummings, a true junior, 78 overall. And we have Nelson Vincent coming back for his redshirt senior year at 77 overall. Paul Ryan.
Oh,
yes,
you're kidding me.
That Paul Ryan. He is a redshirt junior, 76 overall. Joe Vaughn, a redshirt freshman, 75, but these guys probably ain't going to see that much playing time, to tell you the truth. And our first commit on offense is a true freshman, Andrew Williams, a 69 overall with 90 speed. Not very agile, not very good in acceleration, but he's got top speed to work with, which is nice. And then at tight end, we have the returning Will Glover and Will Harvey. I'm probably going to redshirt Will Harvey this season. And then we have true freshman Bobby Johnson, a 6'6" tight end. He's only 65 overall, but he does have decent enough speed and that size that I like to try and contest catches over the middle. At left tackle, we have redshirt junior Brandon Moses, redshirt junior James Davis, and redshirt sophomore Andy Pruitt, with true freshman Joe Carr at 67 overall to bottom out the depth chart. We have true senior Doug Whaley, and redshirt freshman transfer Mitch Walker is going to sit out this season, but he will be the starter next season because Doug Whaley, like I said, is a senior. At center, we have redshirt senior James Moore, with Mike Robinson, a redshirt sophomore, and a true sophomore Thomas Carter backing that position up. At right guard, we have redshirt sophomore James Neal and true freshman Jonathan Wilkerson. And at right tackle, we have redshirt senior Demetrius Campbell, and behind him, redshirt sophomore Jared Christian. This might be the biggest upheaval on the entire roster, and that is replacing Brad Whitaker's production. He had 23 sacks in 14 games last season.
That's a lot of sacks.
It is a lot of sacks. So it's going to be a rotation probably between Brian Stanford, a true junior at 80 overall, and a redshirt freshman, Dustin Haynes, at 76 overall. Unless either Haynes or Stanford ends up playing better, then I will just play that guy and not really do much of a rotation. But it's going to be basically up for grabs. Whoever wants that battle is probably going to win it. On the other side of the defensive line, what were you about to say?
I said I figured out our little song conundrum.
What?
So Daft Punk originally did the song a long time ago, and then essentially Kanye took the beat and added his own thing to it.
I knew it was a Kanye West song. See, I just knew it
It's
because
not a Kanye West song.
I only knew it as a Kanye West song because I've never listened to Daft Punk in my life.
Fam, we're gonna change that.
No, we're not. Zach Woods is a redshirt junior, 85 overall. He's going to be the man, quote-unquote, on the defensive line. Hopefully, he can replace some of Brad Whitaker's production. And then behind him, we have a true junior, Tony Anderson. At defensive tackle, we actually have a redshirt senior who is an 86 overall, Anthony Scott. He's going to be the other main person on the defensive line. I didn't get that many sacks at defensive tackle last season. Shannon Phillips did get about 7 or 8, I believe, but he's gone, so it's going to be basically Anthony Scott and true sophomore Antonio Ball. Yeah, he's dead. We also have true sophomore Charles Martin. I don't know if I'm going to redshirt any of these defensive tackles. I might redshirt Mark Anderson, who's a true freshman, at 63 overall. I do like to have at least 5 on the depth chart, but if need be, I could just put a defensive end at defensive tackle on the depth chart at 4 or 5 if I need to, because I do need to develop some of these guys, and the fact that we have 3 defensive tackles who are not redshirted needs to be changed. Defensive tackle is another position I'm going to go heavily after in recruiting. At linebacker, we have redshirt junior, Sheldon Stokes. I redshirted him last year, even though he was the best left outside linebacker on the depth chart. So he's going to be really good for us, hopefully. He's 83 overall, he's got the speed over the middle, and he's pretty strong too, so he could probably rush the passer if I needed him to as well. Behind him, we have true senior Cole Rice. I'm probably going to redshirt him. And then true freshman Michael Bain. At inside linebacker, do I even have to say it?
No.
Behind him, we have Garrett Golden, a true senior, and redshirt freshman David Schuler. At right outside linebacker, we have James Thompson, a true senior. Now, I don't want to redshirt him. I really don't. But his backup is a 77 overall, so I could potentially redshirt James Thompson, and it wouldn't be that much of a loss. But I loved the way he played last season. I mean, outside Desmond Hollis doing his thing, James Thompson was probably the best defensive player besides Hollis. I mean, I know I talked a lot about McNair, Michael Moyer, the Steve Smith twins, and of course Brad Whitaker. James Thompson was everywhere on the field last season. I was really surprised at how well he played. But I don't want him to be just an 81 as a true senior. I might redshirt him, and he could be really, really good next season if need be. And his backups behind him ain't really that bad. We have a 77 true junior in Greg Wallace and a 75 redshirt sophomore in Dylan Joseph. So it's really not that much of a loss, at least depth chart speaking. I don't know. That might be a tough decision. At corner, we have true freshman, the star of this class, a 79 overall true freshman, Damian Sanders. This guy is fast. 95 speed, 92 acceleration. Not very agile, only 80 agility, but that top speed makes him a day one starter. He's good in catching, so he can contest for those interceptions. Pretty good jump too, 88 jump. He can go up there and try and contest some of those balls. He's 6 foot, so even though he's not as tall as some elite corners, he's got the skills to hopefully be a #1 corner in the NFL one day. And best of all is that he has 88 zone coverage and 85 man coverage as a true freshman.
That's some pretty good freshman numbers.
Tyler Hawkins has 89 man coverage as a true sophomore, but Damian Sanders, 88 zone coverage as a true freshman, automatically is the best on the entire roster.
How about that last name, though?
That's a pretty good last name, Sanders. I like that.
So he's either going to be Dion and completely ball out, or Bob and die.
And die. Hopefully the
Literally
former.
die.
Tyler Hawkins is a 79 as a true sophomore, coming off a pretty good year for a true freshman campaign. And then we have redshirt senior Steve Smith coming back. He's probably going to be the #1 corner on this depth chart. Damian Sanders is going to be #2, matched up against the second wide receiver. And then I'm going to have Tyler Hawkins in the nickel. And then backing them up, we have Michael Johnson, a redshirt sophomore, 78 overall. Adam Morris, a redshirt sophomore, 77 overall. And then at the very bottom, we have a redshirt senior, Robert Hawkins. At free safety, we have true junior Tony Black, true freshman Fred Hubert, and true freshman Tony Glover. I might redshirt Hubert or Glover this season. They're both 61 overall, so it really doesn't matter which one I choose. And then at strong safety, we have redshirt sophomore Matt Jefferson, 79 overall. And then behind him, true excuse me, almost burped and hiccuped at the same time. That's not a good combination. See, that's how you're supposed to do it. We have true sophomore Nate Gilbert, 74 overall. And at the skill positions, and by that I mean the not skill positions, 66 overall true freshman kicker Matt Hines.
Wow.
67 overall true freshman David Brown.
I'll be honest, I haven't been listening too much because you've already said this before. But did you mention that our kicker went in the 7th round?
I have not. I was about to get to that actually. We have only one draft pick, and it was our kicker, Adrian Cox. He was a 7th round pick, which basically means he was probably one of the only kickers taken in the entire draft, because kickers usually aren't drafted unless it's in the 5th, 6th, or 7th round, and usually it's only a couple, if any. So he was probably one of the only special teams players taken in the entire draft, which is kind of cool. So first, we're going to set up our recruiting board. I'm not going to put that much thought into it. I didn't put that much thought into it last season because I was basically building my roster. Now, I should put a little bit more thought this season because now I know what I need, basically, after having a lot of seniors leave last year. I need depth at offensive line, and I need depth at defensive line. That's basically my biggest two needs, but I also need to get better starters in the secondary. I know Steve Smith has been good. Tyler Hawkins, you know, is a true sophomore. I just got Damian Sanders. At safety especially, my safety starters have been in the 70s both this season and last season. I need safeties that will be in the 80s. So I need to get players who are going to be pretty good in that regard. I'm not going to put that much focus on wide receiver or running back or nothing like that because, I mean, I have those positions basically down for today and for the future. But right here we have a 4-star quarterback, Adrian Peoples, interested in coming to Washington State. He actually has us #1 on his recruiting list, so we're going to add him to the recruiting board. I do have to go after a couple of quarterbacks because, like I said, Corey Green, this is his last year. I only have 3 on the roster, so that means I'm only going to have 2 quarterbacks on the roster after the season is over, so I need to get at least 3 or 4. So I'm going to have to get a couple of these quarterbacks and hope some of them go to Washington State. I'm going to put Jamar Miller, a quarterback out of Oregon, on the recruiting board. The 3-star player. I'm going mostly after 3 and 4-star players. And we'll also go after...
You've earned it.
Yeah,
You're worth it.
I'm not doing 2 stars at all at this point. We'll also go after Paul King, a quarterback out of Washington, the state of Washington. So yeah, hopefully we can commit him to stay home. We're going to go after a couple of 5 stars, even though they're not interested, just because we have to reach. We have to try and get some players who do not consider Washington State and make them say, yeah, actually, Washington State, let me consider that team. We're going after Manuel Andrews and Thomas Suggs. Both are 5-star running backs. They're not considering Washington State at all, but I'm going to put them on the recruiting board and see if I can work something out. Going down the list here for 4 stars, there's a 4-star interested. Ed Hardy, a 4-star running back. He has Washington State #2 on his recruiting list, so we'll add him to the recruiting board. And a 3-star who has us as a 8th selection on his recruiting board. No, let's get something better than that. Okay, we got here a 3-star who has us as his number 2 team. Stephen Foster, a running back out of the state of Washington. So I have my
So you pretty much got the Washington Northeast on lock at the moment.
It looks like it. Riley Bowling, 5-star wide receiver, the best player at wide receiver. His spark rating is unbelievable, 101.10 for a spark rating. And the best part is that he has a 4.34 40 time, and he's 6'5".
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ almighty. He's not considering Washington State, but I'm adding him. I don't care. I will go all out and try to get Riley Bowling. This guy is a monster. Let's see who else. Anybody considering Washington State who's a 4-star? Yes, somebody who's considering Washington State has us number 1 on the list. Thomas Banks, a wide receiver out of Utah. I'm going to add him, and I'm going to stop there for a wide receiver. Wide receiver is not a need. I'm just going after a couple of names because, you know, why not?
You're going BPA.
Exactly. So at tight end, not a position I really need to recruit for, but I do have a couple of players interested, and they're both 4-star players, so might as well. One is considering us 3rd, and another is considering us 4th. I'm going to go after Ryan Hood. He's a receiving tight end out of California. The other one is also from California, but he's more of a blocking tight end, and I need those receiving options, so I'm going to go after Ryan Hood. At offensive line, I'm going to add a lot of names here, even names that aren't considering Washington State, because this is the biggest need in my opinion. Not for depth purposes as much as it is for just getting better players, because a lot of the players on my offensive line just won't cut it, because they're either sophomores, juniors, or seniors, and they're all in the 70s, so I just need better players. I'm going to go after Alex Williams, the number 1 on tackle, Marcus Berry, the number 2 tackle, and I'm also going to go after, let's see here, somebody on the West Coast preferably. A lot of a lot of East Coast players here, and I mean a lot. Let's see. Wow. Still okay. We have somebody from California, Dustin Daughtery, 71 overall. Oh, he ain't gonna consider us. We have a deal breaker, of course. The only guy who's on the fucking West Coast. Okay, we have somebody else. Dusty DeLuca.
What's the deal breaker?
I don't know. It doesn't specify. Dusty DeLuca is a 3-star tackle. We're going to add him to the recruiting board. He is from Los Angeles, so hopefully we can get him. And another tackle. This one's actually interested. He is from California. James Fornendal, 68 overall. Add him, just why not? Now at guard, again, I'm going to add a lot of names that really don't even consider us. We do have a 4-star from Hawaii, so I'm going to go after that guy too. And a Los Angeles 4-star, John Gutierrez. And I guess that'll be good for that. And at center, I'll add a couple names. We have a 4-star who's actually number 1 on his recruiting list, James Little. So that's pretty good. Any other centers interested, 4 or 3-star? No, it doesn't really look like it. I'll add one more center who's a 4-star, just, you know, for the sake of it. I'll go after Roy Yates. He is from California, so, you know, you never know. Try and sway those Cali people to come over. At defensive end, the number 1 player at the position is Cameron Bowman. I'm adding him. Another good player is Mario Walters from Ohio. I'll add him. We also have Trey Brown from Utah. I believe that might be a pipeline, so I'll add him onto the board. Going really heavy on the defensive line here. Aaron Quinn, a 4-star from California. Put him on the recruiting board. Going down the list here, see if there's any 3-stars who might be interested. It doesn't really look like it. Well, we have one 3-star who's got us as his number 1 pick, and that is Ralph Jackson, so I'll put him on the board.
That's a name.
Ralph Jackson. At defensive tackle, I'm going probably the heaviest right here. So I have a lot of linebackers too. I need better players at defensive tackle going forwards. I'll go after Mike Tyler, the number 1 on defensive tackle. I'll go after Brian Hawkins. He's from California. My only concern with this pick is that even though his rating is pretty high, and he's a 4-star player, he's only a 5'11" defensive tackle, so he might just be a college player and not a professional prospect.
Who cares?
I don't know. I just like to think of that kind of mentality. We have Brody Manson, a 4-star who's interested, so I'll add him to the recruiting board. Also go after a Florida player.
Is he as good as Brody Croyle, though?
No, he's not. Look at this guy's name. This guy is Jordan Matthews. How about that?
Nice.
We'll go after Jordan Matthews out of Florida. Any other 4-stars? Yes. Second on his recruiting list is Washington State. Tom Wheeler, another 4-star defensive tackle from Illinois. I'll add one more guy from defensive tackle.
Reminder, fuck Illinois.
Fuck Illinois. Somebody who has us number 1 on his list, and he's 6'5", 312, so this is a big boy. Danny Riviera.
Jesus.
We'll add him. We only have 5 more players we can add to the recruiting board. I'm going to add this one linebacker, Ralph Scott. What's up with Ralph? Why is Ralph a popular first name? I'm not even going to recruit for middle inside linebacker. We've got that pretty nailed down. I want to add 2 players here at corner. We're going to add Lance Anderson. Oh no, he's white. Never mind.
Nice. That's some racism, right? Also, okay.
What's
the Civ
wrong?
game just got interesting.
What happened?
So, remember I was telling you I was playing in North America's America, right?
Right.
And we were worried about the Indians coming from the West Coast. Well, apparently some trickery happened, and now Shanghai is in the middle of the country.
Good job, fam. So no, we're not going to go after white corners. I'm sorry.
Fam, that's racism, and you should apologize.
Nope. We have Sam Martin, a 4-star corner from Hawaii, so hopefully we can sway him over to Washington State. Unfortunately, the only prospects who are interested at corner appear to be white players, so no thank you.
That's extremely racist.
Have you ever heard of a good white corner?
No.
My point exactly. Jared Bennett from Los
That
Angeles.
doesn't make it less racist.
I know, but I don't care. At free safety, let's see here. We definitely need better free safeties. I know that for a fact. We have Melvin Roach, a 4-star who is from California and he's interested, and we have a 4-star Kevin
How
Cole.
did China get over here?
I'm looking for players. Oh, hold on a sec. Laramie Midian. He's a 3-star from the state of Washington. I want to add him. I also want to add one of these guys. Melvin Roach.
I'm looking to see how China got the hell over here.
I really need
shouldn't
these
be over here.
safeties. I need to take somebody off. I might have to take off a defensive tackle. I want to take off one of these defensive tackles because I need a few more spots for a free safety. I'll take off. No, I'm not going after Jordan Matthews, the defensive tackle. Nope. Okay,
So that's a football name, Jordan Matthews.
It is, but I need to go after more safeties. Strong safety. Do we have anybody who's interested? No 4-stars are interested. How about 3-stars? No 3-stars, really? Not a single 4 or 3-star free safety. So I'll just have to go after Melvin Roach as well, even though he's a free safety. No strong safeties were interested. I'm not going after kickers or punters. There's no reason to. I have 2 freshmen in those positions. And the athlete position. I didn't even check this out. No 5-stars are interested, or any 4-star athletes interested. No. Okay, that's fine. I don't have any 4 or 5-star athlete positions interested, so that's fine. I covered my bases well. I went heavily on the defensive line, pretty heavy at offensive line, and went for players at skill positions, even if they're not interested, just to see if I can't swing their interest.
Just to try.
Yeah, just to try. Swing their interest. So we're going to go to the redshirt players part now and see who do I want to sit out this season. Nobody at quarterback. Nobody at running back.
What the hell?
I'll redshirt Eric Brown because fuck that auto-generated player I couldn't cut. Fuck that guy. Now, I definitely need to redshirt at least 2 names at wide receiver. I don't know if I want to redshirt Quinton Williams or Anthony Hampton, though, because those are pretty big players. They are big play potential players. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to redshirt Jason Washington and the freshman who's coming in this season, Andrew Williams. Now, Jason Washington was very productive for us last season, as seen here. He had 34 catches for 595 yards and 7 touchdowns. The reason why I'm redshirting him, though, is because I believe the same production he provided us is hopefully the same kind of production Josh Nicholson Nicholas, excuse me, Rob Cummings, and of course Nelson Vincent, and Paul Ryan and Jovan. Hopefully they can pick up that same sort of production if they need to, be tasked with doing that. I just need to develop some of these players, and he's still young. He's only a true sophomore, so if I'm going to redshirt him, it's better I redshirt him now. At tight end, I'm going to redshirt Will Harvey, so it's going to be Will Glover and Bobby Johnson playing tight end this season. I'm going to redshirt the true freshman left tackle Joe Carr.
I am so confused right now.
We're going to redshirt Thomas Carter, the true sophomore center.
Redshirt my life.
That should be a slogan, redshirt my life. We're going to redshirt true freshman Matthew Moore.
Does he have any relation to quarterback Matt Moore?
Possibly.
Is he dead like Matt Moore?
I don't think so, because he's on the team. He'll be dead.
Daily
He'll be dead after
reminder,
his
Bud
career's
Dupree
over.
killed a man.
He did kill a man. We're going to redshirt true freshman Mark Anderson at defensive tackle. We're going to redshirt true senior Cole Rice at left outside linebacker, just to give him an extra year of eligibility for whatever reason. We're going to redshirt true freshman Chris Butler at right outside linebacker. We're not going to redshirt James Thompson. I thought about it, and then I realized, you know what? I really want James Thompson this season. He's so good playing beside Desmond Hollis. I want him to play beside Desmond Hollis this season. No, instead of Chris Butler, no, we're going to redshirt Greg Wallace, who's a better player. He's much better. So we'll keep Chris Butler on the roster this season, and Greg Wallace is going to sit out this season because James Thompson's playing. At corner, I'm not redshirting anybody because I only have 2 players I can possibly redshirt, but I only have 6 corners on the roster. To be honest with you, I probably should have went after corner a lot heavier than I did in the recruiting. But if I get a couple of early commits, I can just add more corners to the recruiting board later on. So for
This is true. Your recruiting board is not locked.
It's not locked. I can always add more players if I get a couple of commits early on. Or if somebody on my recruiting board commits to another team, I can take them off and add somebody else. So I'll just have to do that. So no corners are going to be redshirted this season. At safety, I'm going to redshirt Fred Hubbard, and I'm not redshirting anybody at strong safety, and that's it. So all the major players are going to come back this season. The only major name who's not going to come back this season is Jason Washington, which isn't that much of a drop off because I have very good players at wide receiver. So
our offense is pretty much going to be set.
It's a very good offense. Like, I'm telling you, this is a pretty dangerous offense. So all that's left to do now is to reset the depth chart. I just like to do this manually. You could auto-generate it, but no, I just like to manually do it just to be on the safe side. I'm going to do the same thing I did last season and put Wade Roberts, even though his overall is 89 and he is, on paper, the best wide receiver. I'm putting him at the 4 slot. Oh, I can't put him on. Okay, so it's going to be Nicholas. I keep saying Nicholson. That's my problem.
Jack Nicholson.
I do like having Anthony Hampton play the slot. And even though Josh Nicholas is only 6 foot, so he's not huge, and he's only 167 pounds, he's going to be the number 2 receiver on the other side.
He needs to eat a damn cracker.
He does. The big body on the outside numbers is going to be Quinton Williams, 6'3", 220 with 98 speed. That guy can get down the field. Anthony Hampton working the slot because of course. Wade Roberts coming in at 4 and 5 wide receiver positions. He will be the go-to guy in those packages because his skill set creates a huge mismatch against the 4th and 5th string corners who is tasked to match up against him. And then we have Rob Cummings and Nelson Vincent. No, Nelson Vincent, you are going to be above Rob Cummings. I haven't seen Cummings play yet, so I'm not going to trust him. You're immature. I've seen Nelson Vincent play. His play is erratic, but I trust him because I at least have experience playing with him. Will Glover and Bobby Johnson at tight end. Almost went past the left tackle. We have Brandon Moses and James Davis, so they got that position locked down. Doug Whaley. Now the problem here is that Doug Whaley doesn't have a left guard playing behind him because Mitch Walker is a transfer. So we're going to put James Davis and the other left tackle behind him on that depth chart, Andy Pruitt. At center, we have James Moore, and we also have Mike Robinson to shore up that part of the offensive line. James Neal, and also James Neal, and Jonathan Wilkerson, a true freshman. Right tackle, we have Demetrius Campbell and Christian, so they are going to shore up that side of the offensive line. I'm going to start the season with Brian Stanford at left defensive end with Dustin Haynes backing him up. But I'm going to give Dustin Haynes plenty of opportunities to show me what he can do, and I'll decide later on in the season who gets to be the permanent starter. And Zach Woods and Tony Anderson on the right side. Defensive tackle, Anthony Scott, Antonio Ball, and Charles Martin, true sophomores. Behind them, we're going to put in Ben Allen. And Tony Anderson, who is the backup right now to Zach Woods, is actually going to be at the 5th string. See if he can just, you know, maybe get some playing time defensive tackle, because he is pretty big. He is 6'4", 272, so he can definitely play defensive tackle if he needs to. Left outside linebacker, Sheldon Stokes. Behind him, we have somebody behind him. Yeah, there we go. True freshman Michael Bain, and a middle inside linebacker position, Garrett Golden playing behind Desmond Thomas. Well, Desmond Hollis, excuse me. Did it again. I was looking at somebody named Thomas, and I said that.
Death comes for all.
Death does come for all. That is not even a meme. That's just a fact.
Good fact.
Desmond Hollis is a beautiful man.
He is.
James Thompson.
Can we have a moment real quick just to mourn the loss of Ricky Bishop?
Yes, we're in mourning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a sad, sad day when Ricky Bishop is not returning those kickoffs and punt returns.
And he didn't even go to the draft.
He didn't get drafted. I guess maybe he
probably using his dumb major to get a normal job when he should be returning kicks.
No, my theory is that he got so much pussy from women at Washington State that he decided
that he died.
He died from STDs. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. So we have Steve Smith, Damian Sanders, the true freshman, going to play on the second wide receiver. Then we have Tyler Hawkins playing the nickel, Michael Johnson and Adam Morris behind them. At free safety, Tony Black. And behind him is going to be Tony Glover. Is that Tony Glover? Is there like a Glover family attending Washington State? I swear to God.
Yeah.
That's funny. And then it's strong safety. We have Jefferson, and behind him we have Nate Gilbert. And that should be about it. I'll just have to make sure that the kicker and punter position is straight. Also, return position. I have to figure out who's going to be returning kicks and punts, because that's a huge thing I need to figure out.
And Ricky Bishop is gone.
And Ricky Bishop is dead. So my problem here is I don't want a first string player returning anything,
right? Whether
it's wide receiver or corner. The risk of injury is higher when you're returning these plays. So no Wade Roberts, no Quinton Williams, no James Coe, no Anthony Hampton. I think this might actually be Josh Nicholas right here. Even though he is number 2 on the wide receiver depth chart, he really isn't a number 2 option in the offense in the traditional sense, because I'm going to be throwing to Williams, I'm going to be throwing to Wade Roberts, I'm going to be throwing to Anthony Hampton and Will Glover. So that's not to say I won't be throwing to Josh Nicholas, but I think
But he's going to get less touches.
Right. I trust that if anybody is going to get hurt, if Josh Nicholas gets hurt, that's not as much of a loss. I don't want to sound mean or nothing, but he's more expendable.
That is mean.
That's very mean. Okay, fine, but it's an expendable option. And I'll put Robert Hawkins like the 5th or 6th string corner, backing him up in the return game. And long snapper, Doug Whaley, he can hold that position too. So yeah, that's it for the depth chart. All we have to do now is show off our customized schedule. And this is where I'm going to want to commit suicide. It looks like also the schedule re-randomized because I turned off the game without saving last time, so I'll just have to re-edit it. The very first game of the season is we are going at Alabama.
We're gonna die.
We are going to die a slow and painful death, which is the best death actually. And then after that, we're going at Oklahoma. And then our other non-conference game will be a home game against Purdue. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at games and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 home games. So this is the rundown. At number 2, Alabama. At number 6, Oklahoma. At home against number 25, USC. A revenge game at Stanford. Then we have a bye week. At home against California, not California.
Pointing out, we're at Stanford this time.
Yeah, we are
so
at Stanford. So this is a revenge game on the road. Then we're at home against Colorado. Almost said California the first time, excuse me. It's Colorado. At home against number 3 Oregon. At home against Purdue. And then at Arizona. At home against California. At Oregon State. At Arizona State. And then at home against our rivals, number 18 Washington. So this is a absolutely impossible schedule, but I'm going to somehow make it work. I just know I am.
You sure, Sam?
No, I'm not. So let's start the season, and we are officially on our quest for a national championship in year 2. And losing the first game of the season does not spell doom to us, because if we lose at Alabama, that is in fact a quality loss that makes our schedule that much better. Because look at it. If we lose at Alabama in the very first game, it's against the number 2 team in the country, for one. And on top of that, if we were to win out after that, which is very possible, we won 11 games in the regular season last year, we would be on an 11-game winning streak, for one. And then we'd go back to the Pac-12 title game, because we'd be undefeated in conference. And if we were to win that game, that would be 12 wins in a row to finish the season. And usually teams that do something like that go to the national title game. Just in general. But if we...
What the hell? France is trying to settle America now. Everybody needs to go the hell away.
If we beat Alabama, the sky's the limit, man.
Could we go 12-0?
Very possible. And that's not to say that
Probably
we don't have...
not. We'll probably drop the game to Purdue.
Something stupid would happen, I'm sure. But still, I mean... anything's possible. And look, that is the most fitting headline for a game. The headline for Washington State against Alabama is Into the Fire. Because we are going into the fire. We are going into the depths of hell. Can the Cougars invade Tuscaloosa and leave Bryant-Denny Stadium with a victory?
Probably not. However, we will attempt. There will be an attempt.
We will try. For the love of all that is holy, we will try. And you know what? I'll go ahead and say it. It's going to be a close game. I have the players on this roster to make it a close game, if nothing else. Whether or not we pull it out is another story. But the loss we had last year to Stanford ended up being a 20-point-something loss, but it was close all the way into the fourth quarter until they eventually pulled away. So this isn't a team that gets blown out or gets stomped on by anybody. And we're not scared of Alabama. We are the defending Rose Bowl champions. Why can't we come into Tuscaloosa and win?
Because it's Alabama.
Because it's Alabama. But we will try. We will try. And you get an award for trying, if nothing else. But if we want a national championship, our journey does not end with a loss to Alabama. It just becomes a lot more harder. So hopefully we can help our own cause and somehow pull off the monumental upset. So this is Mox signing out. That will be in the next video. See you guys later.